When your breath stops halfway, when you catch yourself holding it without realizing, this isn't a breathing problem, it's your nervous system. Have you ever tried to take a deep breath and it just stops halfway? Like your body won't let you go any further? Or you notice you've been holding your breath during the day and you don't even realize you're doing it until someone points it out, or until you finally sit down at the end of the night and something in you just releases. That was me. For a long time, I thought I just needed to remember to breathe more, like it was a habit I could fix with a reminder. But what I've come to understand and what I want to share with you today is that the breath isn't something you forgot to do. It's something your body has been doing in response to everything you've been carrying. And here's what most people misunderstand about what's going on. When your breath stops halfway, when you catch yourself holding it without realizing, when someone says, just take a deep breath, and it doesn't actually help, this isn't a breathing problem. It's your nervous system. Your body has been in a state of bracing, of holding, of staying alert and ready, just in case something else needs your attention. And the breath is one of the first places that this tension shows up. You've probably been told to just take a deep breath when you're stressed, right? That seems to be the advice that all doctors give. And maybe you've tried. And maybe it helped for a moment, but no one explains why it sometimes doesn't work, why it might feel hard, why the breath feels stuck, why forcing it can actually make things worse. So let's talk about what's actually happening in your body. Because once you understand this, the breath becomes something completely different. Let's talk about the diaphragm for a moment. Most people think of it as the breathing muscle, but it is so much more than that. The diaphragm is a dome-shaped muscle that sits between your chest cavity and your abdominal cavity. It's surrounded by the heart, the lungs, the liver. It connects at the sternum in the front and deep along the spine in the back. And every time it moves, every single breath, it massages your internal organs, your stomach, your gallbladder, your heart, your lungs. Think about what happens when you get a massage. Your nervous system shifts, your body softens, you come out of fight or flight response. That's what a full, free breath does internally every single time. And it's so wonderful and miraculous to think about the power of the breath this way. The diaphragm also signals the brain's central command center, directly affecting the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. It stimulates circulation, it supports digestion, and it connects to the vagus nerve, which is the main highway of your parasympathetic nervous system. The system responsible for calm, for rest, for digestion, for reproduction, for healing. So from this one muscle, this one movement of breath, you have the ability to shift your entire physiology and your emotional tone. And that, my friends, is not a small thing. It's actually quite wondrous. Here's what happens when you're under chronic stress. The internal environment of the body becomes dry and contracted. Everything tightens. It becomes brittle in your internal environment. The muscles around the neck and the shoulders tense up and brace. The jaw holds tension. The back tightens. And the diaphragm tightens too. When the diaphragm tightens, the breath becomes shallow. And when the breath becomes shallow, digestion slows, energy drops, and the nervous system stays activated, it stays contracted, it stays dry. And sometimes it's not even the tension, it's suppression. When we don't process our emotions, when we push things down, when we keep moving through things that we haven't fully moved through, the breath gets restricted. I had a teacher once say, the breath touches every cell in the body. It houses the past and the future. It tells all of the seasons. And I've never forgotten that, because what it means is this: your breath isn't just air moving in and out of the body. It's the body's record of everything it's been holding. It's the body's record of every experience that you've had. It's the record of every single life experience from the first moment that you've been on this earth. Think about it. That is such a powerful, powerful tool. So let's make this personal for a moment, because not all breath patterns are the same. And the breath that helps you depends on what your body is actually doing. If your breathing tends to be shallow and high in the chest, busy and alert is always on. And your body doesn't need a breathing technique that creates more energy or more movement. That would be like adding fuel to a fire that's already burning hot. If you tend to hold your breath, bracing, controlling, waiting, your body needs something that begins to free the breath gently, without force. If you've tried forcing to breathe deeply and it just feels wrong, like your body is fighting it, that's actually really helpful information. In that case, we don't push the inhale. We focus on lengthening the exhale instead, letting the breath out slowly, trusting that the inhale will follow. And then there's the natural diaphragmatic breath, the breath that happens when the body feels safe, when the nervous system is regulated, when there's nothing to break against. And that's what we're moving toward, not a technique, more of a state where the breath just becomes a natural support to a regulated nervous system. And so I want to talk about breathing techniques for a bit, because there are so many breathing practices out there, right? There's box breathing, alternate nostril breathing, ocean breath, bellows breath, and they're all valuable. They all have their place, but they're not all appropriate for everybody in every season, in every state, at every time. So ocean breath, right? The one that you often hear in yoga classes, or ujjayi breath, is actually a very heating breath. It's intense. I remember doing it for about 5 minutes during my first yoga teacher training. And even in those 5 minutes, I was dripping with sweat when all I was doing was sitting on the floor doing a deep ujjayi breath. So if you're already stressed or overwhelmed or burnt out, or you're feeling more angry, you have a short temper, you're feeling a little heated, that's probably not the best medicine that your body needs right now. The breath has to counter what's happening in the body to be the most effective, to be the most healing. And this is exactly what I talked about in episode 10, when yoga leaves you exhausted. My own experience of choosing practices that were working against my body instead of with it. If you haven't listened to that one, go back when you can. But the simplest thing that I can offer right now is lengthen your exhale just a little bit longer than your inhale. That's it. You can do it sitting in a chair, lying in bed with a pillow under your knees, a pillow under your head, supported by blankets and other pillows. That physical support underneath your body, under your head, under your knees, helps free the ribs, it softens the shoulders, it releases the chest, and those are all areas that have been braced for so long, they've forgotten how to let go. And the support teaches the body that it doesn't have to hold everything on its own. It can soften into the support around it. I remember when I was at the height of my burnout, I couldn't inhale even for a length of one. And so I'd be in bed every night just doing my best to inhale to one and to exhale to two. And I was having heart palpitations at the time, and this really helped me. Just lengthening the exhale to 1 to 2 breaths was able to calm my heart rate just a little bit and make it so that I could go to bed. And so I'd like to lead you through a short practice now. It's not complicated. It's an invitation to notice. And this is good for anybody with anxiety, depression, stressed out, feeling kind of good. It's one I'd say is pretty good for everyone. So take a few moments to find a comfortable position. If you're sitting, hands in your lap, feet on the floor. If you're lying down, maybe something soft under the head, a pillow under the knees. And if at any point any of this feels uncomfortable, just return to your natural breath. This practice is about observing, not performing. So I invite you to close your eyes and just take one inhale and a sweet sigh out with the exhale. And doing that once more, inhale with a sweet sigh out of the exhale. And notice the body lying down or sitting down, letting the tension in the jaw soften, letting the shoulders soften, allowing the hips and the pelvis to soften. And we'll inhale to a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause the breath and say in your mind, "Thou art with me." Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause the breath. "Thou art with me." Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. "Thou art with me." Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. "Thou art with me." Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. "Thou art with me." Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. "Thou art with me." Inhale. "Thou art with me." Exhale. "Thou art with me." And continue this for about 3 more rounds of inhales and exhales. "Thou art with me." 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 And keep going on your own, or let the breath return to its natural rhythm of inhales. And the inhale gives itself to the exhale. And the exhale gives itself to the inhale. Perhaps just staying here or maybe opening up the eyes. Taking a moment to notice how you feel. How is your mind? How is your breath? Fuller, easier, a bit more restricted, a bit more freer? Are there places in the body that feel different than when we started? Maybe an iota of tension has released. This is what it means to begin reading your own pattern, not just fixing, not just optimizing, but noticing. And if this felt familiar, that feeling where your breath won't fully deepen or your body feels tense without a clear reason, I want you to know that's not a flaw. It's your body communicating. The breath is one of the most honest signals you have, and learning to listen to it rather than override it is one of the most powerful things you can do for your nervous system. Before you go, I want to point you toward episode 7, the hidden stress of self-judgment, because a lot of what shows up in the breath is connected to what we're holding internally. They're linked in ways that might surprise you. And if you're starting to notice this as a pattern, not something that happens occasionally, I want you just to write it down, perhaps somewhere, take a mental note of it. And then I have a yoga nidra practice, 12 minutes, link is in the show notes, where you can just let the body settle, let the breath come, let it be a little bit more free, help the nervous system regulate. If this landed for you, if you've been surprised when deep breathing just doesn't work, or you've tried heating practices maybe in a yoga class that just didn't work or made you feel worse, I'd love to hear about it. Email me at chelsea@chelseajohnsonayurveda.com, DM me on Instagram at chelseaayurveda. And remember that your body isn't broken, it's communicating. That's it for this edition of The Body Rhythm. Thank you for joining me. Be well and nourished.